Welcome to the Entertainment Rants Podcast, your number one opinion source for all things entertainment. Join host Marco Mazzola as he sounds off on the latest movies, TV, music, gaming, comic books, and more. Now, here's the man of the hour, Marco Mazzola.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Entertainment Rants Podcast. I am, as always, your host, Marco Mazzola, and today with me we have three of our guest hosts today. We have Amy.
Hi.
In studio with me here. We have Quinn on the line.
Hello.
And we have Mila on the line. Hello.
Hello.
There we are. So our normal group. So we're doing a little remote stuff today. Usually we're all in the studio together, and Amy's online with us. And we're no Larry today. So a little shout out to Larry. We miss you.
It really is a shame.
It's
Hello,
a shame,
Larry.
but Larry's out having fun.
There.
Larry's out having fun.
Watching. Yeah, probably.
I was going to needle him about how there are no
truck drive
chase
or
scenes.
something.
He's in New York having fun watching Phantom of the Emperor. I'm not too sad for him. He's having a good time.
He's having a great time.
We do miss him.
He's doing just fine.
So he's doing just fine. So a little shout out to Larry. So today we are doing the Chapter 5 review of Book of Boba Fett / Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 1.
Yep.
So let's go around. So obviously, we've all seen it. So let's go around the table and kind of get everybody's takes on it, and then we can go in depth in it. So, Amy, since you're in studio and you never get to go first, why don't you get to go first today?
So this was my favorite one so far. Largely, I think, because Boba Fett wasn't in it. And
it might be a popular opinion right here. Yeah.
And it was focused on Mando, and I loved Mando. I loved his storyline, and it was good to see him again. But it didn't feel like, I don't know, unless the next couple episodes are building. I don't know. I understand like they're going to take him and bring him to help Boba Fett, but I hope it continues, because before this, like I had said to you yesterday, if they had dropped this all at once, I probably would have stopped watching already.
Right. Yeah, and I understand that. I mean, for personally, and I'm not going to get into all my stuff yet. I'll wait for everybody else to go through. But yeah, this is certainly my favorite episode, as sad as that is for a series where the titular character doesn't appear in the episode at all. Right, that is a little sad. So, all right, so let's go to. We'll just go in order. Quinn, you're next on my screen, so let's go to you.
So, I am a little bit annoyed that they spent 43, 44 minutes on getting Mando to meet Fennec. But you didn't
enjoy the backstory?
I enjoyed it. I'm just annoyed that I enjoyed it, but I'm annoyed by it that they had to do it that way.
Gotcha. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. You wanted to see a little, a little quicker, maybe just a little minute or two of what he's doing, and then Fennec goes to get him, and he says, "Okay, let's go do it." And right?
Yeah, they had 2 minutes of him just walking around the ship.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, and Mila, we're going to get to you too, but at the end of the day, the whole episode was just a Mando story, but not in a story of why he says okay to Fennec to join their little crew, right? There's really no catalyst in the story that we saw.
Wasn't great with Fennec. I thought they still he was
there was no
Fennec,
reason. She's just
like an assassin. Yeah.
Yeah, but she's like, he's like, oh, Boba Fett needs help. Okay, fine, I'll do it. Obviously, just as sort of a payback for Boba helping him, right, and helping him with Grogu. You know what I mean, on the planet when Grogu was contacting the other Jedis, and Boba helped out,
fair.
right? He got his back, so he's getting his back now, and that makes sense. But Quinn's right. Did we need 45 minutes of a story that had nothing to do with why he said okay? Yeah. It was just a reason why he was on Tatooine, and Fennec went to go get him. Somehow she knew he was on Tatooine, right? I mean, he wasn't on there until that time.
I know,
he went to go
really
get
recently.
his new ship.
Maybe word spreads. Maybe it's a small town. I don't know.
Well, there's multiple towns, and he was in Mos Eisley, and they're in Mos Espa. So it wasn't even the same town.
It's a small planet. No.
A small, dusty planet.
Not a lot of action.
Not a lot of action. Small little dusty planet with some small towns. No. Yeah. So let's get into the story itself. And I know we kind of skipped by the news. Do we want to jump back to the news? Let's do some news real quick, because I forgot to do the news at the top of the show.
Yeah, we can
let's do some news. All right, hold on one second. I got a news intro for you. 1 second.
It's time for the news.
All right, great. We got through that without Mila talking. Fantastic. So, the news. No reviews to read this week, but that's okay. We got two news articles that I saw. One is not a news article, right? There was almost a Tom Brady retiring, almost, but not quite.
Well, yeah, we're not sure.
Amy's more of a sports person than I am, right?
So it came out yesterday, and it was confirmed by multiple sources, and I guess
except for himself.
Well, I guess his TB12 brand initially put something out, but then took it down.
Right.
So I don't know. Is he retired? Is he not? Yeah. What's happening?
Well, let's hope that pop figure I got you goes up in value.
Yeah. So,
right, Mila.
Tom Brady's in limbo.
Well, that's right. Okay, so the other news article, and we don't have a lot this week because I was kind of busy, plus with the storm. But the other one I thought was really cool. A TV show is coming out, a reboot series on Peacock for Bel-Air, or Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Oh yeah, I had seen that.
Will Smith is producing. It looked really good. It's more of a serious drama. It's not a comedy. Mm-hmm. It's a serious drama take on the whole series. But I mean, it looked really. And I was a big Fresh Prince of Bel-Air fan. I love that show. I'm actually interested in watching this. Like, at least checking it out. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I'll stick with it the whole time. It'll have to grab my, keep my attention. But I'm actually the preview itself looked really strong. If you get a chance, I would check it out. It's on YouTube. It's everywhere. You can just look it up. It's just called Bel-Air. Yeah, check it out on YouTube or wherever, just research, just Google Bel-Air reboot show. It looks really good. The first 3 episodes are dropping February 3rd, and it'll be a weekly show.
So it's next week.
Yeah. First 3 are going to drop
this week. What am I saying? Thursday, right?
This week. So they're going to drop the first 3 episodes on Peacock Network, and then the rest will drop weekly.
I would watch that.
Yeah.
I love the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely worth at least checking it out. All right. So let's go to celebrity deaths. This one was a sad one. Did you? Did you like when it, not on when it was on, but like reruns, right?
She wasn't alive when it was on.
Yeah, she wasn't. I know. That's what I mean. Oh, okay. Right. Yeah. Quinn, have you ever seen it? You ever seen the original Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
No.
Not in Quinn's Royal House. That's okay. That's all right. Are you a Will Smith fan?
Who?
There you go.
And there we have the answer.
Take that as a no. Take that as a no. He still does movies. I don't know where Quinn's at. He still does stuff. He's still active. All right. Let's go to celebrity deaths. I only saw one. Yeah, you know who he is. I'll go to, there's only one celebrity death this week, and it was a sad one. Yes, Peter Robbins, the voice of Charlie Brown, passed away this week. He committed suicide at the age of 65.
Yeah.
He suffered for years from bipolar disorder, amongst many other things. Spent multiple years in prison, and and a lot of it based around his disorders. And unfortunately, it overtook him. He thought he had it, not licked, obviously, but he had it managed, and he was in a facility and taking the right medication and doing what he was supposed to be doing. But at the end of the day, it's a super powerful thing, and it's really tough for people to, be able to manage. And, you need so much support and help with that kind of thing, and nobody should try to go at that alone. So, it was very sad. Like, I saw the article and I was, a little sad for the childhood, the voice of Charlie Brown, and seemed like a very interesting person. He wanted to I think he wrote a book or was going to write a book about it, and I don't think he got the chance. So, it's sad when somebody who, you hear that voice, that voice, it's in your head, right? And then for their life to turn the way it did, and that, you know what I'm saying? Like, you think, not that anybody's untouchable, but like, you figure they got it, right? Like, they did this and they're so iconic, but it can happen to anybody. It can happen to anybody. So that's all. I don't want to go too deep into it and turn down the whole episode, but we should all take a moment on that. All right. Let's go back to it. Let's get back into now the chapter 5, the Book of Boba Fett / Mandalorian, season 3, episode 1. We start out the episode in basically a butcher shop, like a slaughterhouse, I should say, a slaughterhouse, with these alien slaughterhouse with these dog creature, humanoid dog creatures. Interesting location. I don't think we've ever seen something like that before in the world of Star Wars. And there's actually a couple locations in this episode that we've never seen in Star Wars.
But they were in the last episode with Boba Fett, I think. Weren't they?
No, it was different. It was different creatures, but I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, the guy at the end.
No, that guy was more of like lizardy.
Okay.
He was a little bit more lizardy, but yeah, he had the same kind of jowl thing happening from the nose, that same time, but different character.
Wait, Kind of reminds
yes,
me of
sir.
Barf. Kind of reminds me of Barf from Spaceballs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a little bit. Exactly right. But so what was weird about that was like, it's a slaughterhouse in the Star Wars universe space, yet they still have those plastic drape type things that we have in our like butcher shops and meat markets and stuff like that. It's like, well, I guess that's just universal. That just translates to even the meat markets anywhere, no matter which galaxy you're in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But to them use the same sort of like, not decoration, but like, utility stuff that we use was quite interesting. The cleavers look different, the table, things like that. Yeah. 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 I mean, is it a way to ground it? Is it a way for us to like instantly recognize where you are without having to do a lot of backstory on where they are? It's like, okay, that just looks like a meat market we have, or a slaughterhouse that we would have, or something. And it did immediately. You saw those plastic hanging drape, and you knew where you were. Like, that's pretty cool. So it was a cross between like a meat market and like something from Saw.
Yeah, it was weird.
What I mean? It was really weird. The set dressing. So we go, and he finds basically the bounty he's looking for, cuts off his head. He's got the dark saber, so we realize he still has the dark saber, right? Which we saw, as you do, and he's using it not very well. He does look cool. I hope he gets to learn how to use it really well. I hope he gets training on how to use it and figures out, and that might be an arc that they use in the actual Mandalorian show. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So some of the things that I loved about this episode.
Sensitive. What if he's
that would be cool if we find out later on that he's a force sensitive Jedi Mandalorian. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. Yeah, that would be pretty badass. Right. Yeah. Yeah, but he wasn't using it all that well. He cut himself. He sliced his own leg with it during the fight with the dogs.
Well, it's too heavy.
It gets heavier the more you
he's
use
fighting
it.
Against it. That's what the
armorer.
The what?
The armorer. She's called the armorer.
The armorer. Yeah, that's what she was saying.
Yeah. So, yeah. Same thing. Yeah, but they call her the armorer. And, but, we like to change names like here, like Sandworm and all that on this show. So we go there. We get the bounty. Yep. Yeah, exactly. He cuts off his head. Now, here's the first bump for me. He gets the dog's head, he takes it, he's got it in the sack. I'm all good with that. He's going to carry it back. He doesn't have the Razor Crest, right? Because that's gone. That blew up. He has no ship. He's going to board a commercial flight. Okay. I'm okay with that. He's got to get around the galaxy somehow.
Yep.
A little weird, but okay. He hasn't found a ship yet. That's fine. I'm good with that. He gets on this commercial flight that makes him check all his weapons, right? He goes through this whole scene of like, and it's that trope of like, I'm going to take out a million things. Like, here's my knives, here's my guns, here's the darts, here's the rope, here's the, it's forever, right? Here's the saber, here's my pistol, right? It's like, you've seen that before in movies where they have like, it's almost a, one of those, it's almost like a Naked Gun. If you remember those movies, like one of those tropes of like, this is, what's his name? Mel Brooks. It's almost like a Mel Brooks scene, right? Like, we're going to make this ridiculous and just drop 100 weapons into this case. The problem I had with it is other than that bit of comedy, it's useless. It never becomes a problem. Like, it doesn't become a issue. He doesn't have to find the saber again. Like, he gets off the flight and he gets all his weapons back and we're on for the day. So you spend a few minutes dealing with this of him unloading all his weapons for no real payoff. What will you tell me? Because I need to know. Right. Something that actually forwarded the story. Absolutely. No, I think you're right. I don't think there was time. I mean, let's put it in there. There is time, right? There's a 45-minute episode. You can make it another 15 minutes long. We've talked about that. All these shows, like a lot of these Disney shows have been like cut short, 45 minutes. You can make it an hour, right? The Boys is generally an hour. Like these other shows are recording at an hour. Why are you cutting your episodes short? What is the catalyst? What is the reason? Other than maybe you think down the line you're going to put them on network TV and there's got to be commercials, so you got to build it that way. I don't think so. I don't see Disney farming it out down the road to ABC or CBS and like, okay, so now we had to make 45 minutes because we know there's going to be commercials put in for an hour show eventually. I don't think so. So there is no real reason I can see to make the episode so short. So make another 15 minutes and make 5 of it him trying to get his weapons back that he had to give up.
Yeah, there really was no point to that. I thought they were going for like maybe like a comedic, like it's just funny, right? Like look
kind
at
of like that Indiana
Jones
Jones moment.
Yeah.
Right? When the guy with the sword, he reaches for the gun, he doesn't have it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Like how, I think they were trying to make a joke of how armed he is, but it just, I don't know. It wasn't necessary.
Yeah, it was a cute little thing, but again, it's
not like he reaches under his breastplate and just pulls one out.
Yeah. But it would have been better. It would have been better if he even threatened the robot. Like the robot's like, no, you have to listen, I'm gonna blow you away if you don't. You know what I mean? Like do something of no, I'm keeping my weapons because this is something. You know what I mean?
Fine.
There was some little pause of you see him in the ship and a little, the little I forget what it's not a Twi'lek. I forget what race the Credo is. It's one of those. It's the Credo. Yeah, it's a Credo race-based character. The little girl or boy, I don't know what it is looking at him, and he just kind of gives it the little sideways lens. Yeah. Which then you see later. You see the same character when that's the only reason for that is because you see it later when he's driving, when he's flying around that commercial ship while the X-wing pilots stop him.
Yeah,
Rodian. He's Rodian.
Thank you, Rodian. I knew that's why we bring Quinn. That's why we bring Data. So he's always got the answers. I love it. Love you, Quinn. So it's true. You can say that. I'm comfortable. So Amy, you should see the Amy's look at me right now. Anyway,
it's not about the love you. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So anyway, moving on. So we get that scene. We get to Tatooine, right? And we get all our weapons back. And then we meet Amy Sedaris' character again, right? Who's basically another comedic time. She's a comedian.
Yeah.
So you got to throw a little bit in there, but that was a little much, right? You have the little robot with 2 legs, which I forget we've seen him before, and so it's a callback character, and then the other big rat basically gets her and is pulling her behind the.
That's Amy Sedaris.
Yeah, with a lot of makeup and the big wig and the whole thing. Yeah, I'm telling you.
Oh my god.
I know. Yeah, there's actually something online. People look at that, look at her, what she really looks like in real life compared to what she looks like on the show. Yeah, look it up. It's her. So, yeah, anyway, so you see she's getting pulled behind the crate by the big rat, essentially, and that's when Mando shoots it and lets her go. But that kind of whole moment was a little it felt a little out of place. You know what I mean? Mando's that gunslinger type, and then there's all of a sudden it's this comedy of her getting dragged behind a case by this big rat. Quinn, what about you?
How big was the rat?
It was pretty good size. It's kind of hard to see. You're right. It's not rat size. It's almost like small dog size. No, it is. It was more it was almost like golden retriever size. If you see there was a kind of a glimpse of it, and then at the end of the show, if you see in the they do those paintings. They see those paintings at the end of the show. If you see the actual artwork on it, it was supposed to be really big. Yeah, it was almost like a golden retriever. So yeah, pretty much.
Golden retriever rat.
Yeah, it was about that size in the painting, right? You don't get to see a really good glimpse of it on the show. They kind of cut around it. So then she's there. I liked the rest of her time there. We see what was another callback character we saw on that side. Does anybody remember? Does anybody see it? Well, you're close. It was R5, the red droid. R5. That's the one that blew up. Yeah, that's the one that blew up. That's right. And that's why if you see the top of it, one of the panels looked all burnt out around the red. Because that's when it had the bad motivator and blew up. So the Jawas took it back and she got it. No, he didn't sabotage. The thing just was just crap and it blew up on the walk through. And then that was it. And so he blew up and they're like, no, this one's got a bad motivator. So they took it back. And obviously the Jawas had it and she now has it. And she fixed it. Yeah. It's R5. The red one that blew up in A New Hope. Isn't that a great callback? Yeah,
I had no idea.
Yeah. Yeah, she made mention of making sure she called it R5 so that you knew it was that actual robot. Plus it's red. It looks like it's got that sort of hexagonal shape to the head, not like rounded dome like R2's.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool. I thought that was a nice little callback, which is what I love on this show.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that. I like it though.
Yeah. Quinn, what are you going to say?
Okay. So according to I just looked this up. According to the Disney Canon Anthology book, from a certain point of view, the droid was not sabotaged, but rather convinced by R2-D2 to fake a malfunction.
There you go. So he Jedi mind tricked him.
Yeah.
One force sensitive droid Jedi mind tricked another droid to basically commit suicide. Yeah, to off itself. That's awesome. Great call, Quinn. Great look up. I like that. Data's in the house.
Right.
What? Everyone has a purpose.
Yes, everyone does have a purpose.
That's why we love. That's why we love Quinn. Because I don't want to look that up, but that's why we have Quinn. Quinn's going to look that up for us and add context to the show. Quinn, you need to be on more shows because I'm getting crap wrong left, right, and center all the time. Ask everybody else. So, all right. So we see that. So now we're supposed to. He's supposed to get a new Razor Crest. He's looking for a new Razor Crest. She does not have a Razor Crest.
No.
She has a Nubian fighter. I could tell what it was underneath the tarp just because I love the Nubian fighters so much. The royal fight, guard fighters. Mm-hmm. Those things were so badass in Phantom Menace. So I could tell by the tarp and the shape that I was like, oh my God, it's going to be a Nubian fighter. And of course, she pulled it back, had the yellow on it and the two wings. Such a cool callback.
Mm-hmm. That was really cool.
Great way to pull that into this, pre-Empire, like she said. Off the grid, handmade, like they went through all the specs. Yeah, and I'm sure some people have trouble with it. I think I spoke to Larry about this week before he went away. Yeah, he was, how Larry go. We love Larry.
Larry has a lot of trouble with this show.
Larry does, and he had trouble with the 80s fixing a car montage is basically what we got as the 80s fixing the car up montage. Yeah, just the same as somebody like a chase scene. Yeah, he's
a lot of it.
A lot of it. And that's okay. Everyone's got their good opinion, so that's why we love him. And we miss him today. So yeah, he was not a fan of the car fixing montage. Almost like we saw in Ghostbusters Afterlife when Finn Wolfhard was fixing the Ecto 1. It's like, okay. Yeah. So this we got a very long car fixing montage, but I liked it. I enjoyed it. It gave some great moments. It's creepy. The Amy Sedaris' character was so creepy. She's like, I dated a Jawa once. Very furry. Very furry.
I know.
Very, very furry. And she gets like her tongue around. The fact that she can speak Jawa was awesome. I thought that was fantastic. Like that was really good. She's she's translating, stuff like that. Like I thought that was a great added touch to the show. We'd never seen that before with her, and that she could do that. I thought that was wonderful. I enjoyed the riches. So this is my trouble with Chapter 5. They're really, other than a couple little nitpicky things, it's a great solid episode, and we haven't spoken like this about any of the other episodes
of The Mandalorian season 3.
Right,
it's season 3. It's a great solid episode.
Great season 3, episode 1 of The Mandalorian. But for Boba Fett, we haven't, which we're not getting till the end of the year.
How many episodes are there?
There's only 7. There's only 2 episodes left of this season.
He showed up in the recap, but that's it.
Yeah, that's it. 7 episodes. We have 2 left. So that begs to the question of 2 episodes left. There's supposed to be a war coming. Is this a 1 or 2 episode war? That's not a war. That's a mild skirmish.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a couple of kids on the playground in the sandbox getting pissed at each other.
That's what I was just thinking.
Literally throwing sand in each other's eyes because we're on Tatooine. So why not? So it just, I don't understand. I don't get it. And so then the question also is, Din Djarin is like, yeah, I'm on board. I'll do this, but I have to go and see a friend, which we know he's going to go see Grogu because the armor made him. We'll go back to that part too, because that part I loved and hated. He got which might be chainmail. It looked like she was making chainmail for him, but she made him something for Grogu, some armor essentially for Grogu. What I thought was funny, she put it in that little handkerchief and then pulled out the parts that look like his ears.
Yeah.
So it kind of looked like his head. Yeah. That was a cute little thing. Weird, but cute. But he's going to go see Grogu.
So it begs the question, right? Like, here we are. Excuse me. Sorry. So we're going to have what? At least another episode of him going to bring that to Grogu? And then what?
Are we going to bother? Or is that going to be part of The Mandalorian? Like, is that's set up what he does in Mandalorian? So the question is, how does he then come back? Is this a time jump between this episode and the next episode where, we don't get to see what he went and did, but that he's back? He's back on Tatooine. He took care of the business with Grogu, and now he's back on Tatooine and helping Boba with the war. That's the question, right? We just go see him on the way to go get Grogu.
Oh, yeah, episode 1A.
But then, if you do that, the whole season just that period of time? Is it shortened time?
Oh,
the time stuff is going to be really weird.
Yeah.
Well, okay, but then what do we do? What do we do for the rest of the season? Yeah. Is the rest of the season him going back to see Boba? right? So he's coming back. He's going to come back and help fight the war.
It could be the aftermath of the war. The war.
Yeah.
In air quotes.
Yeah. So I don't know. That is something to be seen. We still, like I said, we still have 2 episodes left. Okay, so let's track back a little bit. We are at the planet, the ring planet, which is very much Halo. It's almost a Halo, but it's not complete. It's not a complete ring. We see there's an end to the ring. That whole there's that whole planet, which was I mean, I know I'm being nitpicky, but like really impossible. It's an impossible like feat of not just engineering. It's just open, right? We see no quasi like force field that holds people to it or air to it, and the people just walking around on this ring floating around space, which looks completely, quote unquote man-made, right? Like it's manufactured, not natural. Right, it was cool looking, super cool looking how the light kind of travels over it in different sections, day or night. Super cool looking. Whatever, I don't know if you call it a planet or whatever you want to call it, station. Yeah, makes no sense, but it was really cool looking. A lot of suspension of disbelief for this planet. I use the word planet like loosely.
I know.
But again, it was really cool. Like, and then he goes to the bowels of it. He goes underneath it essentially to find the armor and the one other Mandalorian that still exists.
And then he gets kicked out of the club.
And then he gets kicked out of their club. He gets kicked out of the Mando club. Yes. Like, really? And like on both sides. Like, really? You got kicked out? How sad are you? Well, that's it. That's the other side. Like, really? You have 3 people in your guild and do you really have the manpower to kick somebody else out? You're down to 2 now. Just because you're pissy that he took off his helmet.
Yeah. And one of them
that's
kind
the
of
way. I get this is the way, but maybe we can bend a rule to get our numbers up a little bit.
No, we don't bend rules. But the other one too seems like kind of a jerk. Like I'd take Mando over him.
Yeah,
he's like, yeah. Oh yeah. I don't like him.
I get the motivation. His ancestor built the Darksaber, so he wants it back in his possession. Part of it is I want it back because my ancestors, and the other part is he just wants the power. That's the main. I'm sure that's the main motivation. He just wants to be the ruler. Use that as the reasoning, right? That makes you seem less,
No one wants to say I want power,
right? Yeah, because you just look like a lunatic when you do.
You look like a megalomaniac.
Yeah,
try and legitimize yourself.
Yeah, that was kind of sad.
Ahsoka.
What'd you say, Quinn?
Could be Mando. It could be season 1 of Mandalorian. Could be him going to see Ahsoka.
She's getting her own show, so I wonder how much she's going to show up in Mandalorian. She's going to be busy with her own show. But we have to get Mando back with Grogu.
Because Bo-Katan also will go to the Darksaber for a short time.
Yeah, Bo-Katan we'll most likely see. We'll most likely see Bo-Katan again because of the Darksaber and everything, all that kind of stuff. We'll most likely see her again. But we also probably will see Luke again, too, I would imagine, to some degree, because he's going to see Grogu, who is with Luke. So at some point, we'll have to bring him in. Hopefully, like I loved what they did with the, the face swapping, that they did with it. But hopefully they don't do that for the next one if he's going to be in it more, right? Because Mark Hamill, kind of came back in and put the suit on, but they did that whole. It was kind of de-aging, but they didn't. They used that deep fake is what it's called. Did you ever see that? What they do? Deep fake. So they take like 1 billion images of your face over the internet. They like pull every possible like image that you've ever had like online, and it just shoots them. The computer puts them in differently. Yeah, and then they of course clean it up. But yeah, so anytime you've ever done, so that's so they took all the photos and video stuff when he was younger. Yeah, Mark Hamill interviews when he was younger during like 70s,
doing the Star Wars stuff. Yeah,
around that time period. So obviously did a lot of interviews, on TV. Johnny Carson and whatever. They took all that video that they have in the archives and took all those images and mixed it in.
Wow,
it's an amazing. I'll show it to you sometime. It's pretty cool. They have it. I think it's on Disney Plus, isn't it? But the other question is. The other question is, do you even bother? Like, that takes a lot of work and a lot of money to do that. It's a lot of time and money to do if he's in a whole episode, not just a minute or 2. So the other, obviously, option they have is Sebastian Stan has been very public about the fact that he would like to do it. And if you actually see him, what he normally looks like, not in Winter Soldier or anything like that, if you see him next to Mark Hamill, they look very similar. They look very, very similar. Yeah, he looks like Mark Hamill did when he's younger.
Really?
Yeah. You see him like clean cut with short hair, no beard or whatever. He looks very similar to Mark Hamill when he was younger. So it would be an easy switch to put him as a younger Mark Hamill, Luke after Jedi. You know what I mean? And make it fair. So, yeah. So it'd be super easy.
Now I'm Googling this.
Go ahead. You do that.
I will.
No, it's good. You should see it. If you've never seen it, it's pretty cool. It's pretty eerie when you see it. You're like, oh my God, you never notice it until you see it together. It's like at the dojo, Mila, when you see a yellow belt or a gold belt or an orange belt, they look essentially the same without sitting next to each other. But when you put them next to each other, like, oh yeah, that is a different color. So that's what happens. Yeah. So anyway,
wow.
Yeah, right?
Wow.
See, you pulled out the side by side, right?
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
I mean, perfect, but it's definitely.
I mean, for a show, you're gonna get away with it. If you put Sebastian Stan in there, you get away with it. You easily get away with it. You know what I mean? Because you understand that you're not gonna do that deep faking for an entire episode.
Yeah. No, they could be brothers.
Yeah. So I think that's a good way. If they choose to do that, I think that'd be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, all right. So we talked about the underground or under station material. I liked that with the armor. I thought that was fun. I liked the training, the training montage when she was trying to help him with the Darksaber. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, she's wonderful.
I like her. I like her character.
Data, we need a name, Data. What's her name? What's the actress's name?
Which one?
Yeah. The armor. Data will get it for us.
Emily Swallow.
Emily Swallow.
Emily.
Thank you, Quinn. And thank you, Quinn, because Mila was not going to stop.
No.
And for stunts, Lauren Kim.
Gotcha. All right. So there you go. See, that's why we have Data.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate you. So yeah, that's my take on that portion. Now we get to Ford again. We're back. We fixed the new ship, right? We fixed the Nubian fighter. It looks badass. All the modifications, the the Fast and the Furious, on the top. They basically tricked. They Dominic Toretto'd out they Toretto'd out the front of it. It's got the the air intake and the manifold and the you know what I mean. All that stuff was the car. All that stuff was really cool looking. So like souped up and jacked up. I thought it was funny. And then he takes it up. He takes it up and he busts ass out of there, right? And he's starting to, and she tells him, you gotta fly like a starfighter, not a gunship. And he just peels out. So when he peeled out, did you see where we were? Who saw where we were?
In the desert.
Okay. Yes, we were in the desert. You're right. Where in the desert? Does anybody recognize the scenery?
Is it more Phantom Menace?
Yeah.
Right?
It's a pod race.
It's a pod race.
Yeah, it's the pod racing track.
Yeah.
And we went through the pod racing track, which I thought was a great call.
Yes.
Yeah, we got you.
We can hear you. We got you.
Your video your video pauses once in a while, but we can hear you the whole time. So we get the pod racing scene, like basically the pod racing track through that in Beggar's Canyon. So I thought that was a great callback. Yeah, Beggar's Canyon and all that, and yeah, that was really good. And then of course he takes it to outer space. He's like, all right, let's punch it, let's see what we can do. And up into space they go, and he's flying around the commercial ship. You see the little, what was that species name again, Quinn?
Rodian.
Rodian. We see the little Rodian again. Now, I had a question for you on the Rodian. When you see the kid, boy or girl, I don't really know. It doesn't matter. But when you see this character, the child.
That's Grogu.
That's Grogu. That's Grogu.
Right. Grogu is the child. If you look on the kid, the child's right side, I could have sworn you saw the kid's real neck, the actor's real neck. Like there's like a collar, but beyond the collar, I have to look at it again and screenshot it. It looks like the mask doesn't continue. They didn't bother doing anything further. Like there's no more green goes down into the neck. You could see the human skin underneath. There's just like a mask that ends underneath the chin or underneath the right where the neck starts. And it kind of turns its head a little bit, and you could kind of see it once in a while. I thought that was kind of weird. Interesting. Not something you normally see, like mistakes like that in a Star Wars show.
No, not at all.
They usually could have pretty good about stuff. And not to say that they don't have their share of mistakes and things like that. Most famously, in A New Hope, the stormtrooper that knocks himself out, running through the opening, when they're all running in to one seat, and one just beans the cross beam. Because they come up at an angle, right? It's not perfectly square. There's like an angle to it. And it didn't hit it. It just can't see it. Those stupid helmets. And just cracks himself right out.
Again, it adds a layer of comedy.
Yeah. It wasn't intentional. It certainly wasn't intentional. But they're like, just print it. That's fine. Nobody else is going to even notice it.
Nobody's even going to notice.
Yeah, let's put it. But obviously now, of course, you didn't see that in the movie theater because you couldn't rewind it. But take now we have, even from VHS, you could start rewinding it and noticing it. And of course, when it became digital, forget it. Super easy to clean pauses, and you see this thing bean itself out. So
I think George Lucas actually liked that part.
Yeah, he probably did. I think he's just like, keep it. Why not? Because they could have cut it differently or whatever, especially in any of the remastered editions. They could have easily cut that out or digitally taken him out, whatever. So they could have changed it, and they didn't. They kept it in there. Another callback, which I love. I love the callbacks in this episode. When he and when Mandalorian and Amy Sedaris' character, who can't remember, I'm going to look that up, what her character name is.
Oh, it starts with a P.
Yeah. It's not Petunia. No, the character played by Amy Sedaris. What was her character name? So they're fixing the gunship. They're fixing the starfighter, excuse me. And there's that long pole right near the end that they have to put in. Super long pole. It has like sort of like the bumps on it. Like this little. Thank you. See, you're right. The P. So there's like those sections that have like the little bumps on it, things like that. Yeah, that really long shaft they kind of put in together at the end. Yeah. Do you remember where we were seeing that before? A New Hope. Again, we're back to A New Hope. In the trash compactor, that's what they used to try to jam the walls from trying to close in on them.
Really?
That's the same item. Yeah, I saw a screenshot side by side when Han and Leia are trying to hold it up and stop the walls from closing in on them. It's the same item, the same piece of ship. Yeah. No.
But I'm assuming not the same one. I'm assuming not the exact same one though.
Probably not the same one because that one got crushed, but it's the same type of thing. It's the same item. Yeah, so I thought that was a really fun callback because they really spent a good time talking about it and showing it on screen and how the Jawas became about it because they went under a Pike ship and basically while it was still active when somebody was just like out getting coffee, they went out and stole it. They sliced it off and pulled it. Yeah, so they're inventive. they are daring.
Creative.
They're creative and daring, but very furry.
Yeah.
So. I still think that was funny. I'm sure people find that ridiculous. I thought that was funny as hell.
I think it's funny. Yeah, I thought it was funny.
It was a great little bit. I don't mind that part.
That's actually I believe that's the first time in Star Wars history that we get reference to the skin texture.
Yeah, because you really see it in this one more. Like you see their arms more in this one. Like they come out from underneath the cloaks. We haven't really seen that before. And if you look really close on a couple of the shots, you see a lot of fur. There's a lot of dark fur coming out from underneath that cloak. I paused the screenshot. I'm like, oh yeah, they are really furry.
Well, you gotta
almost like a bear furry, like really like it's not just like even monkey fur.
Yeah.
Kind of like an Ewok, like really fluffy fur, like really fluffy fur.
Yeah, but now that they brought it up, they have to, they don't have to match it, but it should.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought that was a great little introduction to, and again, it's a little character development as far as I'm concerned, not just for her and her backstory, which, we don't really know much about her other than the fact that now we know she was born on Tatooine. She's always lived there, never been off world. But little backstory. She's alone doing her thing and she just loves what she does. She has these droids, including R5, doing her stuff and making a living on Tatooine the best she can. Right. Moving on up, hopefully. That's right. Moving on up to the east side of Mos Espa, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah.
You never know. So I thought that was fun. Fun. Yeah. So we get the whole scene. He gets back. So we get the callback when we're flying around space. Right? He buzzes the commercial ship, and then of course he meets the two X-wing pilots. Basically, pull him over to talk to him. He does his beacon.
I thought it was hysterical.
Yeah, and we see the guy, the other guy from the Mandalorian show. With the beard.
Yeah.
Right. We see him again. He's like, don't I recognize your voice? Like, I think you got somebody else. And then he books it out of there. I thought that was awesome. That was a great moment. He books it out. He's like, I jumped to hyperspace. No, he did it. Those afterlight engines. Yeah. To me, that was my favorite line in Rocky 3, I think it was, when he was fighting Thunderlips, right? When he's walking Thunderlips, played by Hulk Hogan. And so Rocky's in the ring with his manager and everything like that. And they're like, he's like, why are they carrying him? And they're like, they're not, he's walking. That's why Mary's like, oh crap. And then Hogan gets in the ring and Rocky's able to look up at him. Like from his, she's like chest height is to look up into his face. Why are they carrying him? They're not, he's walking. So that was the same thing to me, right? So that was fun. So we go back down, loves the ship. Yay. I got my new ship. Now the ship, which is super cool, right? That ship was super cool. Would everybody agree?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, but Amy and I talked about this too. How's he carrying anybody back in that thing? Like, that's not a bounty hunter ship. It's a one-man ship with a droid port.
The droid port.
Yeah.
You can put people in
the droid port She gutted out the droid port, so maybe he could stuff a body. Right, there's no carbonite freeze, which he had. Like he had a nice little portable carbonite freezer. So you have to bring him, either whatever, dead or folded up like a briefcase and stuff him in the droid port. It's really not conducive. It's not conducive for long range or long term flight, like long term space flights. You know what I mean?
Right.
In his ship, he can set on autopilot and go walk around and go to sleep, go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? There's not much he can go. No. He can go to local planets that are quick. Yeah, he can go to local planets that don't take a lot of time to get through with even light speed. He could go there, but he's not going to make a jump from one side of the galaxy to the other. He's not going to go even one part of the outer rim to the. You know what I mean? It's like it's not going to happen. It's just too much time.
Yeah.
For just sit in that little cockpit and do nothing.
Well,
would
you get out of that shit, be all cramped up.
Would you prefer for him to get a fire spray?
No, I want him to get a Slave 1. So I don't know. That's what I want. No, what I would like is another ship like the Razor Crest, but something big enough to put this ship in. Something that this ship could port inside of, right? And dock in, right? And then he could use this on special missions if he needed to.
Like maybe another YT-1300 or no? No.
Sure.
No, that wouldn't work.
Yeah, there's plenty of ships out there that are big enough to put this ship inside of. Yeah. A good sized ship that he can dock this one in and use this for quick little stealth missions or whatever things he needs the speed for. You know what I mean? That would be pretty cool. So you don't want to just give up this ship. It is pretty badass.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. All right, so we get back, we land the new badass ship. We land the new badass ship and saying how much he likes it, and then who shows up? But Fennec.
Yep.
Fennec shows up, Ming-Na Wen shows up at the last moment. I thought that was good. I thought it was a good entrance. I thought that was fun. It's just the very last moment we get to see Fennec. And she recruits him. And I like the way she recruited him. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I enjoyed the way she recruited him. That she tried to pay him, and he's just like, no, this one's on the house because it's for Boba Fett, who, again, he helped him out. He got his back with Grogu. He's gonna help Boba Fett. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, me too.
I enjoyed that. But then, again, we bump into the fact that he's got to go see his friend. Who knows what's going to happen going forward. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to the next episode. The time frame is going to be weird, but we'll see what happens next episode. Hopefully they explain some of it or we see something. Because, again, my fear is that we talked about last time is does this season end on some kind of a cliffhanger? There's just 2 episodes left to have a war.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I know. It is.
How do we have a war and solve all this? Oh, you know what part I loved? And maybe, I don't know if you guys like this part, was when the armorer was telling him about the Mandalorian history. And we saw the bombing.
Yeah,
with all the TIE bombers coming through like that, depressing, but really great. Totally, exactly. That's exactly what I thought about. Yeah. Yes, that's right. Because then the K2 SOs, I don't know, whatever,
the K2s.
There was a bunch of the K2s were coming through, just blasting after the bombers had come through, wiping out anything that was still moving. You see all the Mandalorian helmets sort of laying about. I thought that was super depressing, but also really amazing. It felt more movie than streaming show.
Yeah.
Like that seemed like a movie moment to me. Something they would put in a New Hope or like a Rogue One or something like that. Yeah. That definitely gave it more of a movie feel than a TV show feel.
Canonically, that would have canonically had to happen like around Rogue One though.
Yes. Yeah, but that's it, right? We got some really nice history and a great way to put it out there. In this show, and it brought again Chapter 5 to be the best episode of this whole,
absolutely,
like the most. And so we'll give credit to where credit is due. Bryce Dallas Howard was the director. She's amazing. She directed some episodes of Mandalorian and did amazing at that. She's a little loopy. If you ever see her interviews, like she's kind of a loopy person, but she's super nice. Like she's super nice. Looks like right, exactly. And she's really good. Like she's really good at this. And so now, of course, everybody's like voting for her to do a movie, like for her to take over and do one of the movies.
That'd be really cool.
Like another type of Rogue One type of thing. You know what I mean? Like or something.
I'd be all for that.
I would be totally down for that. She's pulled out some amazing episodes of Mandalorian season 1 and 2. She did an episode in both, and then this one, she would crush a movie. I think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, she's definitely shown that she has the chops for it. So I think that would be super cool. So there you go. All right. So give me some thoughts. I've pretty much talked most of this episode, 50 minutes away.
Some thoughts on what's coming?
What's coming, this episode, anything you want.
So I hope we get to see more. I hope Mando's in the next 2. I hope he doesn't just go away and do his thing with Grogu and then come back.
Yep.
So that we have to spend, because honestly, I like Mando much more than I've grown to like either Boba Fett or Fennec Shan.
I like Fennec more than Boba. Boba's because he's like a one syllable, monk.
Yeah.
I am Boba Fett.
Yeah. I know. I'm really like, I'll finish it because I want to finish it, but I am in no way interested in like season 2 of the Book of Boba Fett or anything like that at this point.
Yeah, I don't know that a lot of people are. You know what I mean? I can say I wouldn't have, just because if I'm going to watch it, I'm going to watch the whole thing because it's Star Wars and I like to know what happens. Kind of like Marvel movies. Like I watched Eternals. It wasn't great, but I watched it, not just for the podcast. Like it's a Marvel movie and I want to know what it brings to the table for the next episode or next movie that I do want to see.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Quinn, what about you?
I think that like Grogu might I don't know whether Grogu will play a part in the war. I don't think so, but I hope so.
I would hope so too, but I don't think so either. I think he's off with Luke getting trained.
Yep. I think he's learning to harness his abilities here.
Yeah.
Also, if they have Grogu, then it's kind of a done deal, right?
If they have Grogu, it's just an episode of The Mandalorian. It's just they just turned it over and made it. They just steered into it and said, you know what, this sucks. Let's just make it a Mandalorian show. Can we change the opening titles? Is it too late to change the opening titles? Yeah, he'll definitely be in the season 3 of Mandalorian to some degree. I don't think he'll be as much of an Inuit, but I think he'll be some. I think hopefully some of Mandalorian season 3 has to deal with him having the Darksaber and being basically the ruler. I don't care if he's out of the clan; he's still technically the ruler of Mandalore, right? I mean, he has the sword and he did win it by combat.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He might not be in their coven and their guild, or she considers him not a Mandalorian, but that'll come into play.
I hope so too.
Yeah. I think that's going to be a lot of it, and hopefully, he's able to. I don't know. Do you think he'll ask Luke to train him on how to use it? Or Ahsoka?
Sabine? Maybe
imagine
Sabine
all 3 of them together.
Sabine,
yep. Sabine, yep. There's definitely some more characters that have to be brought in, right?
I love Ahsoka.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I think Rosario Dawson nailed that character. Sure. Absolutely. Yeah, she really did. But we got to, but Ahsoka's show is going to have like General Thrawn in it and things like that. So we got a lot of that stuff still coming. Yeah, that's what they teased in the when she was talking about it in Mandalorian. That so that's the kind of the go ahead is what's going to happen in her show.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really looking forward. I'm actually looking forward to. So staying on the Star Wars topic, I'm really looking forward to the Obi-Wan show. That starts soon. Quinn, can you look it up when the start date for Obi-Wan is?
I don't know. I was looking forward to this too, and now I know.
Oh yeah, so Ewan McGregor is back and happy to be back. The flip side, but with the good comes the bad. Hayden Christensen's back again as Darth Vader, as Anakin. So we get the one tone monotone, whiny. Oh, he was
awful. Awful. He's the reason I never watched episode 2 or 3.
But why? Oh, because you just like him?
Because they were so bad and they were so wooden. Him and Natalie Portman, they were terrible.
They were
terrible. I couldn't do it. I'm hoping some of it was direction.
Yeah, exactly.
It just says airs 2022.
That's yeah, I think you're right because there was a new trailer that dropped for it, but I don't think it had a date on it either.
And it's going to be 6 episodes.
That's it, just 6? Oh, good Lord, they're really cheapening out. They're really cheap. Oh, good Lord, it's going to be 5 episodes of nothing in one episode. Like, hey, look, we put it together. Man, they are short-sheeting us left, right, and center. You gotta stop. These other shows are putting it together.
Now I'm even
look
less
at how many
excited.
episodes The Boys are, and Invincible, and all these shows on. Even Marvelous Miss Maisel, which I understand doesn't cost as much, but it actually does cost a lot to make that show.
Yeah.
This is not happening anymore. I don't know, but Disney has all the money. Yes, I understand Amazon has all the money, but Disney has all the money.
No, Disney really has all the money.
But Amazon does too, and I get that. But they could make, and that's why they can make a Marvelous. Yeah, but they put a lot into shows like Marvelous Miss Maisel and The Boys and things like that, which both take a lot in terms of like The Boys takes a lot in terms of CGI.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of money spent on that, but there's also a lot of money spent on costuming. Miss Maisel, there's a lot of money spent on costuming because to make that kind of a time period piece with the cars and the set designs and the costuming, it costs a lot of money. to make everything time period correct. You know what I mean?
I
So
know.
they're spending a good penny on that show. You know what I mean? So so there's no foreseeable reason why Obi-Wan is 6 episodes, or you know what I mean. That is a little frustrating. We want more. Yeah, make it 8, make it 10, why can't you make a nice even 10?
Nice even 10.
Make it a nice even. I know a monk. We're gonna do our monk episode, but make it a nice even 10. Will be good. So yeah. So a little frustration there, but I'm still looking forward to seeing it. I love Ewan McGregor's portrayal of Obi-Wan, especially by the 3rd episode. He was much more like Alec Guinness than he was in the first one. Excuse me, Sir Alec Guinness than he was in the first one. But I thought that was well done. So it'll be exciting to see a little bit of the history of what he does when he's on Tatooine, basically looking over Luke, and interesting to see how they bring, Hayden Christensen. Apparently there's supposed to be maybe another duel between them. Like we didn't actually see all their duels, right? The Mustafar duel was not their last one, and the one we see in New Hope was not their final one. There's apparently maybe more in between, that they've come across each other a few more times.
I could get behind that.
Yeah. Well, because now we've had, other than the Darksaber stuff, we really haven't had much for Mandalorian or Boba Fett. We haven't a lot of there's no Jedis really, other than Luke coming in at the end and Ahsoka. The Ahsoka episode, the Luke episode, and that's pretty much it. That's all we've seen of any kind of a Jedi hint and lightsaber stuff. So, it'd be nice to see it again. Obi-Wan and whatever else is coming out. But there's a lot of shows coming out. Like they have a lot more. I think the Rogue Squadron one, or the Squadron one, I think that one's back on the table. They put that back up. They sort of like,
really?
Yeah, they kind of like hit it for a while. And now I think it's back. It's going to be happening again with Patty Jenkins. I think is going to be running that one, who did the Wonder Woman movies. So we'll see. People are kind of cool. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. And I think they're back in talks with Gina Carano to get back on board. They've kind of made peace with and they kind of sidestepped her for a while because of her Twitter rants and things like that. So they think they're kind of like made their peace and did what they had to do and showed that they weren't on board with what she was saying and how she was saying it. But now it's time to kind of get back to business, and the fans want her back. So, and I wouldn't mind, I might not be, I don't agree with necessarily her politics or her thing, but I don't really care what her politics are. She's an actress. You know what I mean? She's good. And she was great in Mandalorian. I think she was great. She's not maybe the best actress in the world, but she was great at her character in Mandalorian. And I want to see more of it. She did. She crushed it. Yeah. So that'll be good to see her back again. Cause she's supposed to be heading up that, like the basically it's the squadron of like the jumpers, you know what I mean? Like that kind of like her, the people that she was part of, you know what I mean? So that'll be good. The troopers essentially. We get the Ahsoka show coming up. So that's just the Star Wars stuff, right? There's a ton of stuff coming out. I have to look it up and see all like the plate for Disney. Moon Knight. So is that what we're jumping into next? Because when does that start? It's soon though, right? Like, is it March? It's like March, but it's not. But it's not till March. Yeah, I looked that up. I think it's March, like 2nd or 3rd. So I want to say it's the beginning of March. I could be wrong, but that leaves us only 2 episodes left of Boba Fett, which will end. Yeah, so we got a lot of time. So because we only got 2 more episodes of Boba Fett, which takes us through this week and next week. So mid-February, we're done with Boba Fett. Is there really that much gap between that and the next sort of weekly Disney Plus show? That's my question. Because at some point, we want to keep doing our weekly podcasts and review shows. So we have to find something else to come out with to do in between. We'll do. Yeah. Well, we can do that, and we can always do a quick move. Yeah, we'll definitely find something, or a quick movie review or something like that. So the other thing we're thinking to start doing too is some commentary track stuff. Hopefully everybody's down for that. We'll literally watch a movie together and comment on the movie as it's playing. So basically what you do on that is, like, if you watch a movie, like, you queue it up on your side, I queue it up on mine, and you either read the subtitles or you just listen to it on an earbud, so it doesn't get recorded. Because you can't record it and play it on the podcast; that's illegal. But if we're watching it, and you can tell the audience to queue it up, you can have the audience say, "Okay, we're gonna watch this movie. Queue it up to 0. Hit play now. We'll hit play now, and we're all watching it together and commenting on the movie as it goes through." Oh, me! I gotta turn my mic off. I'll turn my mic off for 2 hours. We'll talk through the whole damn thing. So to go to that point, yeah, Mila can just run this version of the podcast herself. So to that point, I have no problem when somebody talks through a movie that I've seen If I've seen it or I've seen it a bunch of times, I don't care. I've seen it, but it's the first time, then I want to strangle you. We went to see Ghostbusters. I wanted to strangle her. Oh, I was right next to her. I'm like, can somebody switch seats with me? Right next to me, jibber jabbing through the whole movie. I was gonna kill her. So, first time seeing it, quiet. Second time, third time, talk all you want. I don't care. Yeah, it's bothered me. Did you see that? Like, did I see? Yes, I saw that. I'm sitting right here next to you. Of course, I saw that. I'm watching the same thing. Did I get here before you? Yes, I'm watching the same movie.
But did you comprehend it?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. I can comprehend pretty good at will on the drive. They did the thing.
They did the thing.
Yes. So yeah, that's why we don't watch movies together with Mila. All right, gang, that was fantastic. We appreciate you, everybody. So everybody's got a how many mics do we give this one? So gets how many mics out of 5? You can use halves. 4.5. Yeah. Everybody. Who else? Amy.
Yeah, 4.5.
Yeah.
Maybe it's emotionally driven. I was thinking 5, but
yeah. All right. No, you can say 5. You can say 5.
I
can't
don't
go
know
from there,
though.
but
I know.
And I'm disturbed and happy about that all at the same time. So I'm going to take a half away as well. So I'm going to give it 4.5 too. Dr. Jones?
4.5 for the exact same reason.
Oh, right across the board, 4.5. All right. Well, good thing Larry's not here then, because he definitely would have given it he would have ruined the curve.
2.
He would have ruined our curve. We love you, Larry. Everybody. We're gonna catch crap for this when Larry gets back. We're definitely gonna catch, because Larry listens to the show. We're gonna catch crap. He listens to this, and he's gonna call me. I guarantee you tonight. You guys talking shit about me?
Yes, we are.
Yeah, we hope Larry had a good trip. He actually texted me while we were doing this. So, all right, gang. Thank you, everybody, for being on the show. Mila, of course, thank you. I'll see actually both of you at work tomorrow.
Yeah.
Amy, of course, thank you as always.
You're welcome. Always happy to do it.
You guys are amazing. Thank you so much, everybody. All right. So we got a new hashtag. Hashtag Let's Rant.